All right, welcome back, y'all. We are going to cover segment 2 of County Connection. I've stepped in for our communications director, Dave Rossi. He'll probably fire me after this, but that way we could have Phil, our new interim county manager, come in. We're going to talk about our goals for 2023. We have a lot. This is just scratching the surface, so it's not everything. So first, we're going to start with Josh. We've got some big stuff opening. So tell us what's happening in Frisco that we're really excited about.
Absolutely. You know, in 2022, we put so much effort and resources into a couple of big projects, so we get to celebrate them opening coming up actually probably the first quarter of 2023. The first is our expanded Frisco Transit Center, and that's going to be opening in a few weeks. This is the center that's located in Frisco. It's really the hub for not only Summit Stage, but also some of the transportation providers in Summit County and regionally. So the new Transfer Center will have an expanded lobby as well as waiting space for folks that are waiting for their shuttle pickup. Better spaces for our community service providers, some of those other shuttle services that pick up in that area. We know with the success of CDOT, with the state's transportation goals, we've improved being a location for both Bustang and Pegasus, so it'll have expanded space there for those programs. A larger parking area for folks to be able to park and ride, as well as a satellite office for our sheriff's office. So we're very excited to have that extra level of security there, and another hub for our really hardworking sheriff's department. And so it's going to be a great resource for all of Summit County. We encourage folks to take advantage of the multiple transportation options that are available, and that's going to be opening here in just a few weeks.
Yeah, that's great, Josh. It really covers a lot of goals. Expanded transportation, multimodal, which we know is a big goal of Governor Polis, as well as that public safety piece by having a sheriff's substation in there. That's huge. That's important to us. And we can't forget, I-70 is a major corridor through the U.S., so that's great. Okay, landfill. I think we have some neat stuff happening there, too.
We do. You know, we talk a lot about the importance of our landfill operations here in Summit County, of course, our recycling efforts. We have a very robust program. I won't go through all of it right now for the sake of time, but our Summit County Resource Allocation Park, or SCRAP, is really basically our landfill. And we are expanding. It's not something that people think is exciting. Maybe we do, but the local public doesn't really like to talk about, the landfill. But this is a resource that affects every single resident and visitor here in Summit County. So we're expanding our landfill gatehouse. Later this year, we'll have our MRF reopening, which is our materials recovering facility. And this is just going to allow us to even do better as it relates to our recycling goals in the community and all the efforts that go into at the landfill operations.
I will say, I think our landfill has the best views
It's beautiful.
in the country.
No question.
So,
Pickens is pretty close.
Pitkin is good.
Yeah.
We visited there, but ours is really nice too. Okay, we talked about housing in the last segment, but this is really exciting. Tamar, tell us about what new housing we're going to see. Who's moving in there? How many people?
Yeah, there'll be a lot of new housing in Summit County next year. Certainly the Justice Center, I think, is the most exciting. So that's 150-ish modular apartment buildings, like we already discussed. Those are being built in the factory in March. They'll be delivered in June. Then there'll be some site work to hook them up to everything that happens over the course of the summer. And then in Q4 next year is where folks will be able to move in. We also will have the days in.
This year.
Yeah,
Q4 this year. Yes.
Q4 of this year, folks are going to be able to move in. We'll also have the conversion of the days in. That's a partnership with the town of Silverthorne. That's 170 units in Silverthorne. We're hoping that will be live before the end of Q1 this year. So that's really soon.
Huge.
Which will be very exciting. We'll see a revamp of our housing needs assessment to get a better sense of what areas of income folks most need housing. And we'll see some more code changes at the county to make it easier for private developers to build workforce housing. So we'll also start moving forward our Bill's Ranch development. That's 15 townhomes in Bill's Ranch in Frisco. That should be able to move forward this year as well. So lots coming on the housing front.
That is so awesome. Thanks for all your work. And we would be remiss if we did not thank Tamara for your work at the state level and the middle income housing task force, which is huge. You know, people think of low income, but to live in Summit County, the middle income is very, very much struggling. It's impossible to find a market rate unit, and so all your work there has helped a ton. Speaking of, while we're on that subject, the state legislative agenda at the Capitol this year, we just met this past week with our state rep, Julie McCluskey, who as of this morning is the Speaker of the House. I did hear you say it had been over 20 years, and I saw on social media that it has been like 23 years since anyone from the Western Slope served as Speaker of the House. This is huge. We're super proud of her. And then our state Senator Dylan Roberts, we met with him last week to talk about their legislative ideas. So tell me, what are you guys thinking of?
There's a lot that's going to happen this session. They are going to be very busy, and keeping track of their busyness is going to be a full-time job, I think, for all of us. There's a long list of topics that are going to be discussed this session, everything from land use and sort of putting more requirements in place for counties and municipalities on the workforce housing front, another conversation around property tax reduction and trying to find a balance between what folks in Summit County can afford to pay and what we need to keep counties running effectively. There'll be lots of conversations about water, more conversations around criminal justice reform, certainly more conversations around behavioral health, a lot of hopefully some conversations about the real estate transfer tax, which Elizabeth will certainly be covering for us. Conversations around the WUI code and how we make sure that our communities are built in a way to be wildfire safe. More conversations around childcare and behavioral health workforce development, and certainly more conversations around school funding, which obviously affects our school district dramatically. And then I'm sure all kinds of things that we haven't even begun to contemplate as we move into this session.
Josh, anything that you're planning to work on specifically?
You know, you mentioned that we were visited by Senator Roberts and Speaker McCluskey, and one of the things, in addition to what Tamara said, you pointed out water, but we know that we are in a state of crisis as it relates to water. In not only Colorado, but with the Colorado River District. And so Senator Roberts has pulled a bill as it relates to stream restoration. This will affect forest health, wildfire resilience, flood safety, water quality, riparian habitats, all sorts of issues as it relates to Summit County. And so we'll look forward to partnering with Senator Roberts as it relates to that bill once we get more information.
Well, that's great. Thanks to both of you. I know I'll be in the middle of it as well. We're going to be very, very busy this year. When session starts, as I like to say, we are super busy because we're trying to do a regular job at the county while also advocating for all these really important things that will benefit our community or fight against really important things that will hurt our community. So thanks again. Okay, I'm going to turn to Phil next. We're going to talk about staffing at the county. The BOCC this past fall made some pretty significant salary changes. That's helped a lot.
Very much
but
so.
Tell us, where are we right now with staffing? New hires under your leadership.
You know, first of all, thank you for having me here, and more importantly, thank you for hiring me to be here. But with that being said, you know, I think what's really cool about our approach to governance now and building this collective, collaborative team for Summit County is that we have buy-in from the three of you. And I'm not just talking like, oh, you're going to basically say, do whatever you need to do. It's legitimate buy-in. And so we have not just the money, but we have the resources, we have the people, and we have the outreach in a number of different avenues in the state of Colorado to do recruitment. And so what we're looking for is, in essence, a rebuilding and a rebranding of Summit County government internally. And so we're kind of taking this breath of fresh air with our new comms director, Dave Rossi, which you all met in the first segment and know frequently and very well, to help us kind of outreach and gain these employees that are so difficult to gain throughout the state. That being said, we have a number of different openings, so if I can give a plug for the bottom line plan here, it's summitcountyco.gov /jobs. There's plenty of openings, but we are shoring up some of those openings, and to be honest with you, we're starting to fill up really quickly. For example, our Special Projects Manager, Sarah Wilkinson, which I'm sure maybe she'll be on one of the episodes with us here. Her priorities, literally, we just sat down last week and talked about a number of different ones of them, but the first priority we have for her is Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Project, which is huge in our county, which is some of the reasons that you all brought me in here with my experience on that. But in essence, we're going to be looking at not just internal DEI, but external DEI and what that looks like for Summit County as a whole. Secondly, she's going to be assisting us with our strategic plan. So we talked about that probably mid-year 2023, talking about goals, visions, mission statements, and what are our values going to be. And then thirdly, working with sustainability and a number of different departments and help being that forward-facing approach to all of our employees in the county to bring them in. Another couple of really quick, exciting recruitments that we have almost completed that I can't really talk about yet because the letter and the ink is not dried. But in short, we have our grants team, which I can't thank Commissioner Pogue enough. She has been phenomenal in helping develop this team with me. I don't have much experience in grants, so I brought her in and she's brought me in so we can collaborate. And we almost have a team of 3 ready to rock and roll, hopefully within this week. So we'll have more on that. And then thirdly, there's one more position that is our Human Resources Director position, and that is almost done as well. And I'm looking extremely forward to bringing him or her or them into our environment, because I can't say what it is or who they are, hopefully within this week. So more to come, but please, feel free to apply, join our amazing team. These commissioners have been phenomenal to work with, and I cannot thank them enough, and thank you all enough for listening and helping spread the word. So thank you very much.
All right, well, that's great. Phil, it's amazing that you got through that as our teenage children
Yes, they are
watching us on the other side of the studio making faces. And
Yes, they
so
are.
we filmed this at the high school, so in their, the bell just
bell
rang.
type, right.
Yeah, so it worked out great. But thanks so much. We're really excited to kick off 2023 at Summit County Government. We have big goals, big plans, and all of this is rooted in doing what's best for Summit County and the community. So we'll see you next month. Thanks.